Ignite to Impact.
Hi there. Good morning. Today we're going to talk about the ways that you can support families and caregivers dealing with Alzheimer's. Hi, I'm Dr. Geneva, and welcome to Ignite to Impact Live. I'm so glad you're with me today for this very important conversation. Now, it's a little different, perhaps you might be saying, than the conversations we've had on the past. We're dealing with a very specific issue that affects a lot of people. And we're going to talk about some specific events that are happening. But I want you to know that this still has a place in the conversation, this best place to talk about and inspire the next generation of leaders, and for those who want to make a difference, a positive difference in themselves, those around them, and in the world. So I hope you're doing great today. You know, I always talk about looking good, feeling good, and doing good. And that look good isn't just the physical appearance, though that counts, but it really has more to do with the confidence that's inside of you and radiates out through your skin and shows up in your conversations. And of course, the feeling good is all about our health. And that is so important, and the purpose that we have in life. And then the doing good, well, that's how you show up and speak up for things that matter to you. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation about a very specific health condition called Alzheimer's. And I want us to be able to take that issue, look at it, but also be able to extend it to other health issues in our lives and ways that we can support our families, our friends, and others who are facing various issues. Because as we think about doing good for ourselves, for the ones we love in our community, it's very important to have an awareness of issues, understand the nature of them, how they impact us. So to join me in this, what I think is going to be a very informative conversation, is none other than Colin Mays, who many of you know, who's been in public service for a long time and has a passion for doing good and giving back to the community. He spent his entire career in the public sector and does believe in public service and that power of giving back. He was recognized as Michigan Chronicles 40 Under 40. And as well as when he was in his 20s, he was recognized by Crain's Detroit Business as the 20 people in their 20s who you want to watch. And he currently serves as Community and Economic Development Director for the Delta Charter Township, which is located in Michigan. He has a bachelor's in political science from Western Michigan University, yay, and a master's degree in public administration from Oakland University. Now, currently, Colin is chair of the 2021 Walk to End Alzheimer's for Metro Detroit. And so that's why I wanted to bring him in, particularly as I thought about this whole aspect of, you know, these issues that affect us, particularly health issues, and learning a little bit more about them so that we can figure out ways, if they hit us or our families, or we want to figure out ways to serve others, that we would really be able to have some, you know, strategies to do that. Now, through Colin's leadership, the Detroit Walk, that is the Walk to End Alzheimer's, placed first in the nation for new engagement, for getting new teams to be involved. So he's the perfect person. I want you to know that he's also an active member of the International City and County Management Association, as well as the National Forum for Black Public Administrators. And so we want to have this expert in doing good and believing in the power of giving back join us. So welcome, Colin, and I'm so delighted that you're joining us today. How are you?
Dr. Geneva, I'm doing just fine. How are you? And let me first say, I really appreciate that introduction. I mean, you made me sound like $1,000,000.
Hey, you got it, because you're going to drop $1 million worth of value on us, I know, in the next 20 minutes or so. So, I wanted to start off with kind of asking the question of, well, what is Alzheimer's and why should we be concerned about it?
So, and that's a great question, because Alzheimer's is a form of dementia. There is a possibility of developing dementia and it not being Alzheimer's directly. And, Dr. Geneva, a lot of times we think of those maybe age 65 or older as having Alzheimer's, but there are actually quite a few cases, alarmingly, that of those individuals under that particular age group that do develop Alzheimer's as well. So we want to bring awareness to everybody that's impacted by the horrible disease. Alzheimer's, of course, affects your memory,
Okay.
which in turn affects every other part of your body. I mean, when your mind is not doing the best that it can do, obviously that's going to impact all of your other physical ailments. So getting more awareness around Alzheimer's and understanding, of course, the causes and maybe some ways that we can help prevent it in the future. That's why I took on the role as being chair.
Okay. So speaking of causes, what do we know about Alzheimer's? I know that in the past, there's been a lot of, guesses, a lot of research, this or that. What do you believe? And what's the research telling you that's important in terms of the causes of Alzheimer's? And who does it affect?
Well, the thing is, Alzheimer's impacts everybody at one point in their lives, whether that's them themselves or potentially a family member or a close friend that you'll see develop Alzheimer's. It's certainly a disease that it can kind of start mild, and then throughout the years, as you continue to develop it, it will really increase. And I've met people all across this country that have told me, my mother or my father or my grandparent had Alzheimer's, and we didn't even realize it at first, but they would keep repeating themselves. They would lose interest in certain things that they used to do, maybe even forget to eat. So all of these factors that really impact you, that you just don't think about, and then that you kind of take for granted when you're younger, and you have your mind and your body, and
Exactly.
but Alzheimer's sadly impacts the African American community twice as much as any other racial group, and that's something that a lot of people don't realize.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I myself personally had 2 grandparents that suffered from Alzheimer's. So I've seen the devastating impact that it has. And that's another reason why I wanted to take on the task of being chair, is something that's near and dear to my heart, and trying to bring awareness to the disease.
And so you mentioned that one of the reasons that you're passionate about this particular disease and want to do something about it is that you had family members, and that's sort of like a driver for you. Is that one? How does this passion, or being affected by very close and personal, how does that translate into how we can give back?
Well, and that's a great question, Dr. Geneva. And I think there's multiple ways to give back. And maybe you have a relative that was impacted by cancer, and you want to volunteer or serve on the American Cancer Society. Maybe you have somebody that was impacted by Parkinson's. Maybe you have somebody that was impacted by a drunk driver. I mean, it can be almost anything. The most important thing is that you find a cause that you're passionate about, and that you can really put yourself into it. And give your all. And that's really what I feel about Alzheimer's. On top of my regular day job, working in public service, being able to give back to others and to bring awareness to an important cause like this, you just can't beat that. So I would encourage everybody to find a
Wow.
cause that you're passionate about and pursue it.
So let's say I found my cause. What do we do? So you're coming to us and you're going to share a number of ways that we can impact a cause or an issue that we believe in. And in this case, we're going to talk specifically about Alzheimer's. So start us off. What do we do? What can we do?
Well, I think the first thing is we have to find what our interests are. And then once we find what our interests are, that could be maybe a life-changing event. Maybe you did unfortunately see a family member or someone close to you suffer from an ailment, and you want to make a difference in that regard. There was a young woman I was friends with in college, and she actually was involved with the Make-A-Wish Foundation because she had a younger sibling that suffered from Down syndrome. And through the Make-A-Wish Foundation, they were able to take them on a trip. I believe they went to Disney World. And she said from that, she was forever impacted and wanted to get back to that organization. So the biggest thing is to find something that you're interested in. And also, I would say lean on your support system, whatever your support system may be. Find a way to bring others into your cause and others into your mission, because it does help when you have support from your family and friends and colleagues. And also kind of getting back to specifically about Alzheimer's, our walk is taking place next Saturday, Saturday, October 30th. At the Detroit Zoo. We are starting registration at 7:30, and the walk itself will begin at right about 8:30. So I'll be up there kind of starting off the program. We'll have Chuck Gatica, who was with WDIV.
Sure, I know. I remember Chuck. Yes.
So he'll be the MC, and we'll get a chance to talk to the crowd. We're anticipating probably around 1,600, maybe even more.
Wow.
So we are placing first right now in the nation for most new teams.
Now, most new teams, that means you've shown an increase in participation.
Yes.
People who are working with you.
Yes, absolutely. We have shown a drastic increase. We have over 200 new teams in the Metro Detroit area, and we're actively looking for more. So
now what's a team? So a team is composed. Tell me about the team.
So a team can be composed of, it could be just yourself. It can be up to as many as 200 people.
Wow. Okay.
Really just a matter. So if Dr. Geneva wanted to make a team, it could be Dr. Geneva's Angels or Dr. Geneva's.
Of course, would be Angels. Yes.
There you go. So, you can establish your team, and there's no cost to set up a team.
Okay.
We certainly do encourage people to fundraise, because that's how we're able to help do more research, spread awareness to Alzheimer's. But there is no direct cost associated with signing up for a team. And the best way to do so is just going online and signing up. It'll take all of maybe, I'd say, 2 minutes to do so. And you can go to www.act, so that's ACT, www.act.alz.org/Detroit.
Okay.
And
so this is a national walk. I mean, people all over the country are doing this kind of activity. Is that right?
Correct. Yes, this is a national walk. We are one of thousands of walks across the nation. And as I said, Detroit is right now placing first in the nation with the most new teams. We are about 72% to our goal in terms of fundraising. And we have over 2,000 participants right now that have registered. And also, we have over, as I mentioned, the new teams, a total combined, we have 437 teams as of this morning.
Okay. So that, one of the reasons why I wanted to, have you share with us what you're doing with Alzheimer's is I think it's so instructive for folk who, want to do something and want to figure out, well, what can I do? Because this is another way, as you've just described, the teams and the participation, you're fundraising. You're fundraising and you're getting engagement from others. And so those are two key ways to really, make a difference. And of course, Aaron, thanks you for your leadership. And, we all do in this, particularly this arena, but we know you've been out there giving back and doing great public service for a while. But again, that's what I think is so important for you to share, how you do this. And you've been so successful. I mean, you're recognized across the country as, bringing in that kind of engagement.
Well, I appreciate that, Dr. Geneva. And Erin, of course, she's a contributing member to the Alzheimer's Association. She actually is a part of
Hey,
our
Aaron.
team. So happy to see her around.
Good.
But again, it's all about finding your passion and pursuing that, whether that is giving back to a cause such as the Alzheimer's Association, or maybe it's going and doing something else that you're passionate about. So as I mentioned, leaning on your support system. I would also encourage people just to get involved in certain organizations. It might be something you didn't even know about before.
Okay.
I didn't know much about the Midwest Political Science Association, but it's a group that I got involved with. So any type of professional organization that you can tap into, through that, you'll be able to make other type of connections, and that'll kind of translate into you helping to identify whatever your passion is.
And that also helps in terms of if you're looking for career changes or, making connections that can help you in what you're doing, that, that involvement in organizations. Okay, so we putting together this list, first find out, what your interest is, your passion is. I love the lean on others for support in terms of what you're doing, the fundraising, and organizational involvement. That's a good one. Going into and finding organizations. And then talk a little bit also, I think another way that you mentioned you can support, and you're supporting Alzheimer's, is by raising awareness.
Yes, absolutely. And as I mentioned, research is still being done to figure out exactly what causes Alzheimer's. But if we can keep our minds sharp, so it can be just little things, but remembering something that we did maybe a week ago, remembering something that we maybe even did yesterday. I mean, playing games like Scrabble and any type of mind game that we can do to keep resonating. And keeping our brain sharp, learning new things. That's another thing I want to put down. That's another important factor. You want to always continue to learn new skills, learn new techniques, gain more education. Don't be afraid to learn. My motto is, this is your life. You only get one, so give it all you got. And you never want to cheat yourself. Forget about anybody else. You don't want to cheat yourself. Make sure that you're always giving 110% to whether it's your job or even just yourself. Give 110% to your health. And that's another reason why it's important to keep up with yourself, to ideally try to prevent Alzheimer's if possible.
And so, that those brain games, yes, that you talk about, I just love them. Yes. And also the playing games, I think coloring. I love coloring books, and you can just get so many coloring books. It's fun. And, taking time to be a kid again, watching cartoons and those kinds of things that keep your spirits up. And I just love all those kinds of things. So, what I wanted to ask, so what Okay, so I've signed up. I want to get back to the teams, and there at the Detroit Zoo on October 30th. It's a bright, beautiful, early in the morning. And so I come, and what happens?
So how it'll work is that, as I mentioned, registration will begin right around 7:30,
Mm-hmm.
and then the opening ceremony is at 8:30.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have myself, some other members from the Alzheimer's Association, and Chuck Gatica as well will be there to open
Mm-hmm.
the ceremony. The official walk will begin right about 8:50.
Okay.
And the great thing is that you can be out there all day, all morning if you'd like to. Um, so once you get out to the zoo, there's certainly no restrictions. You can make it a fun-filled family day, and that's something that a lot of people appreciate. Um, we're also having, Dr. Geneva, right now we're doing a campaign. So I believe it ended a couple of days ago, but for your listeners, I can pull my strings and get it to keep going for the next day. We're doing a fundraising activity. So if you raise $50, between $50 and $100, you would receive a walk to end Alzheimer's water bottle.
Mm-hmm.
If you raise $100 to $250, you would receive a baseball cap. And if you raise $250 or more, you would receive a sweatshirt. So it's a Don't Call It a Comeback sweatshirt. It's really nice. I'll be wearing it the day of the walk. You have the old school Detroit English D on it, and it just says, "Don't call it a comeback" on it. So
Okay.
it's really nice.
Okay. And so that, I think, is another way that folk can support a cause, get involved, support families and others who are affected by certain diseases or health issues, and that is giving recognition. Whether it's in a form of a T-shirt, or saying I appreciate you, or thank you, or a note, or what have you, but giving that recognition and appreciation to those who give, to donors, to people who are around you. It is another way, I think, that you can support folk who are dealing with various issues.
Yes, I agree 100%. And as I mentioned, it's really all about just finding out what are you passionate about and pursuing that. So, but certainly want to encourage people to come out next Saturday if you're able to. We do have some individuals that, of course, understanding with COVID still going on, they might be more comfortable walking in their neighborhood, and we will offer that option. But we are first.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
So how long is the walk? That's what I wanted to ask before I say whether I can actually come out there or just write a check, which is another thing that I'm sure that when we talk about giving and helping, sometimes for whatever reason, you can't or don't want to, or, whatever, participate in a particular event, but you can always write a check.
You can always write a check. Sure.
Okay. All right. We want to get that in.
Yes.
So how long is the walk?
Well, the walk really is at your own pace and at your own duration. I mean,
I see. Okay.
So it is totally up to you. And that's another reason too. Like, we do have some people, as I mentioned earlier, that are a little bit hesitant to come out in person still.
Right.
With everything still going on in the world. So when we offer that virtual option, they can walk in their neighborhoods if they decide to. You still have to sign up for a team, so we know that you're participating. But you can walk in your neighborhood. You can do a quick walk around the block and, wear a T-shirt that shows your support for Alzheimer's. So it's really at your discretion. We're not trying to, put you to extreme work here next Saturday. So we just want it to be a nice, fun-filled family day.
I get it. And having these kinds of events, because this, I think the location is important as well. Because at the zoo, because it's, the center of location is at the zoo, you can do so many things there, right there at the zoo. So it's a wonderful collaboration with an institution, a cultural institution in our community that's, really important. And you can go there and have a lot of fun. And
Absolutely.
I do think that's another way that, as you're, working on a particular issue or trying to rally support for families and caregivers dealing with certain issues, that,
Mhm.
finding the right partners, collaborating is important, as well as having fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Having fun. And I see down here, number seven is, I would say number seven can be a mix of have fun with what you do and also don't be afraid to fail, because we all,
So let's talk about that. So what do you mean when you say, the have fun, we can get that, but and don't be afraid to fail? What's that mean?
well, I think that we all fail at something in life, maybe multiple times. It's really just a matter of that perseverance and continuing to keep going. We all set goals and we might not get to them at the time that we anticipated, but the most important thing is that if we keep at it, we will get to them. And I've seen that in my own life, and
Mhm.
certainly want to encourage people to never give up and keep that vigor of tenacity and seeing it through.
Yes. And talking about setting goals and having tenacity to see it through. I remember when the first time that I interviewed you on my recorded podcast. And, just recently I've been doing these Ignite to Impact podcasts live, but the recorded podcast, which is still on my YouTube channel and any place where you go for your favorite podcasts, you will see Colin Mays there. And we're talking about, just some really important political issues and giving back, etc. But I remembered when I interviewed you, you were a different body shape.
Yes, I was.
And speaking of goals, so why don't you, what happened?
Well, I lost 200 pounds in 4 years. And it
Oh,
was quite a challenge, as you could imagine, as anybody could imagine. Going through that type of body metamorphosis. But
mhm.
I'd say maintaining Dr. Geneva is just as hard as losing it. But again,
Okay.
it's something you got to work at every day. It's like a job, but it's a good
Mhm.
job because it's a job that you're doing for yourself. It's a job that you're doing to improve your health and longevity. I tell myself, if I can stay in the game long enough, I can make you know, 10 million, $20 million, but I got to stay in the
Mhm.
game long enough to do it. So
Right.
it's all
Right.
about the longevity and really just kind of changing the mindset of, thinking long term and not just short term, but having these goals and seeing it through long term. And when you take care of your health, your body, you're going to have a better opportunity to, avoid certain ailments, even Alzheimer's. I mean, it
Mhm.
can all be related to your diet and exercise and, just
Mhm.
being active.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes, and that is so important because, clearly in your generation, and you're going to have many, many, many more years to live than your grandparents or your great grandparents, because with all the um, advances in technology and then this emphasis on health, and that it is a long-term view. It's not, what happens tomorrow or next year, but, how you're going to live your life and prepare yourself over the next 20, 30 years, because you're going to have much longer, lifespan. And so taking care of your health right now. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have, again, this very important discussion on this disease so that people can begin to think about how they can give support to themselves and to others and impacting the disease. Because didn't you say that it's highly likely that perhaps many of us will have Alzheimer's or know somebody who does in our family?
Yes, absolutely. I can probably say with much certainty that will be the case. Unfortunately, if you haven't already seen somebody with Alzheimer's, it will impact you over the course of your life, one way or the other. So it's
Mhm.
important to understand awareness and important to come on out next Saturday if you're able to join us in person at the Detroit Zoo
Mhm.
and sign up for a team. As I mentioned again, www.actact.alz.org/Detroit. And we would love to have you participate. And one last thing too, also, Dr. Geneva, we
Yes.
have an event today.
Oh,
Uh,
today? You're doing
yeah,
something today?
we have an event today from 3 to
Okay.
7 at the
Okay.
Woodward Corner Market.
And, and so today is, I just want to, because, I have lots of live viewers, but I also have, just a ton of wonderful, wonderful viewers who watch us on the replay. So today is Wednesday, October the 20th. So what's happening, Colin?
So we have a homecoming event from 3 to 7 at Woodward Corner Market. So that's 30955 Woodward Avenue, suite number 305, Royal Oak, Michigan. And it's a homecoming day event, so it's a good opportunity to come on out, meet some of the team, get a chance to win that sweatshirt I was mentioning earlier, which is very
Oh,
cool.
yeah, that sweatshirt sounds really cool.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun giveaways, and you can also drop off any type of fundraising that you would like to at that time as well.
Okay. So, Colin Mays, you just continue to amaze. There you go. Hey, you just continue to, really give back, be out there. Leave our viewers, those who are on the live and on the replay, leave us with some, you've dropped some excellent ways to support families and caregivers dealing with Alzheimer's, but also those who are interested in, fundraising or, just really helping other people be aware of issues that they might be interested in. And you've dropped a lot of gems for us. What will you leave us with?
I will leave you with the knowledge of time. Time is something that is, of course, of the essence. It's something that is we're not able to get back once we've lost it. It's the most precious tool and gift that we have. So make sure that you're making your time valuable, and make sure that you're doing all the things that you want to do to better your life and others.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Colin Mays, leader, community advocate, public servant, always someone who believes in the power of giving back. Thank you, thank you. Good luck, best of luck today and at the Detroit Zoo on the 30th.
Thank you,
See you
Dr.
soon.
Geneva.
Thank you. Yeah, I just love having those kinds of conversations, particularly with younger generation folk who, they're doing their good thing. I mean, they are, they're out there, they're professionals. Oh, hey, Ruby. Yes, I think this was a great topic to share. These young folk, this generation, and many of you as well, are always interested in how they can do good and believe in this power of giving back. And I'm a big believer of this do good, that you show up and speak for, things that really matter, that you can, it's important to do that so that you have a positive influence on yourself and what you do, but also on others. And these are the ways that we can make a better world, a better place for all of us. So I hope you'll learn more about Alzheimer's, because it will affect probably many of us personally, or will know someone. And so we need to be aware of that and other health issues. Healthcare and is our responsibility. You are responsible for your health. And so, I wanted to bring this conversation to you so that you can hear some, what one individual is doing with many, many others to make a difference. And you can make that difference too. And that's what we do at Ignite to Impact. And yes, please go on. Are you following me now on my social media? You should be on all social media platforms. I'm there as at Dr. Geneva Speaks, and then come on over to my website. There's a free gift there for you. I just hope that we can continue this journey together, to make a difference, to ignite our impact, to ignite our influence, to do good for ourselves and for others. I'll see you the next time.
Ignite to Impact.